Well, a very good morning and welcome to Wellington as we go into our Grand Prix qualifier, the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, and for the first of the five-star weeks here for the Winter Equestrian Festival as well. Top 12 in this class returning for round two over the courses designed by Gregory Baudot of France, and who's the rider that starts us off is going to be Jake Ward of Great Britain. Jake with Dory 66 moving into the first five-star of their career as well, has been now a regular over the last few months here in Wellington. And our course designer Gregory Baudot, the joint course designer for the Paris Olympic Games, and travels around the world now, makes a great return here to Wellington once again. Time allowed here of 75 seconds. Early rail down in the triple combination for Jake, who's also been going through the three-star classes in the build-up as well. Went very nicely out in Italy last season before heading here to Wellington. A few questions on the course by our course designer in terms of options on striding as well. And again, they might just bend this for the 9, we'll see. Also comes up very nicely in the 8 as well. Say time allowed of 75 seconds. We'll get a good indication here, but not from this one, unfortunately, with a stop on course there as they come down to the skinny. So Jake taking a turn. Again, just giving this horse a good experience. Many said nice course out there as they walked it. Well set up for the week. And just getting a few rails as they're coming into the latter part of the course. Like I say, first time for them moving up into the Adequan WEF Challenge Cups here. And timing is obviously going to be longer there as they took a circle. So 93.35, 16 jumping, 19 for time. Not really giving us the indicator yet against our time allowed of 75. But a first good effort there for Jake Ward and Dory 66. Taking us to Charlotte Murray of the US now, and Charlotte also moving up into these five-star sections here in Wellington this season. And for her, they were finished very well through the Grand Prix in Traverse City last July, but again, making the move up now with Magnum's the gelding by Messenger for Charlotte. Jumped into a few of the bigger classes last season, notably into the five-star in the World Cup in Traverse City last year as well. Finishing with just the 4 there at 73.78, just the 1 down for Charlotte Murray and Magnum said. Time allowed of 75, so that does give a good indicator there as they get under that okay from Charlotte. And just finishing on the 4, like I say, it's top 12 to return for round 2 in our format this year. Alex Mads now, the 5-star partners Ikigai, they're standing by Elvis Terput. For Alex, the Toronto World Cup winner, this pairing having plenty of experience now And we'll look at some of the stats as well, supplied to us by Equa Ratings. Clear round rate of 27%, average clear of 29%. And so with a good solid run for these US team combination. And a little plank there at the angel wings down to the Lugano. Again, should give them plenty of space down there. Could ride 9, 10 on whatever distance they want to put in there. Again, it's just going to be a lot about where the time allowed plays here. One stride through this triple combination, just drifts a little coming through there, and this is slightly offset to the Fidelity Oxa. And then coming on a square line here from the wall. Picks up nicely on the 4 easily enough. And as I say, most may well bend that just in the 8, come a little bit on the inside line there, but then again, you don't want too much engine coming down to that little skinny at the next. Should come up nicely on the 6 to finish. Time-wise puts them at, what, 73.22, so just on the 4. So time nicely achievable there, both Alex Matz and Charlotte Murray making the time with just the 1 fence down for them. I'll take us to highly experienced Irish rider Michael Duffy now. Another pairing that, again, have been building up together. So Michael Duffy with BE Skyhawk. For the Irishman, finishing well in Ocala last week in the build-up to returning here to Wellington. Skyhawk, the British-bred 10-year-old by Golden Hawk, which was the top 5-star ride with Shane Breen of Ireland, based over in the UK at Hickstead. And of course, part of their big breeding operation when you see the BE in front, Breen Equestrian. It's owned by Genevieve Mayer through the G Sport horses, gives a little bit more of a space there to get a nice shot through this double. Water tray, they maybe can't see they're drawn out behind the blue vertical. And just having to steady down this line to get them there, but time's going to be okay for them. 72.09. And so Michael Duffy giving us the first the clears with BE Skyhawk for the Irishman. So clear round number 1 of this Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Like I say, though, it is relevant in the terms of top 12 will come back. So the best, in terms of the fastest of the clears, will go last. Katie Dynan out of the blue SCF, the Grant Road Partners of New York. This mare by Verdi that's been such a wonderful performer for her. It's been great to see her step on with this horse. That was with Shane Sweeten. They finished top 10 at the World Cup finals last year in Basel. And now setting off after finishing well again at Washington, previous winner there. Makes a very good effort at the skinny there. Roll back here, still on the clear there for Katie at the moment. Time-wise 75 seconds, should be okay. They've been going around 72, 73 at the moment. Very nice round from, just the last catching them for the President's Cup winning combination. Just on 4:71.88, second best of them so far, because of course the clear from Michael Duffy and B. Skyhawk. Nicola Philipparts now. And horses look very impressive so far this season. Cornetagos PS, gelded by Cordet de Lee for Team Philipparts and Family Lens as well. And again, has been preparing well for this. Jumped well in the Challenge Cup. Already on week 3 to finish top 10 there. New ride for him this season. Their clear round rates and stats still building up. And previously with Steen Timmerman as well. But now heading here with the highly accomplished now European gold medalist. Part of the team last year. He had a very good run last week as well over on the field with various rides they have here. And of course the reliable Derby to Riverland too. Cornetagos, who's been building up now, this 10-year-old. But early days for them, just really handing over the latter part of 2025. Just clips the Lugano fence. Nicola Philipparts just on the 4, and as I say, the 4 falters could still play a part in this. Really going to be interested to see how this horse develops over this season. Well, looks to have loads of jumping ability, jumps around nicely again, and going to finish on 71.38. Second best of them so far, Cornetagos PS and Nicola Philipparts. Just behind that, clear of Michael Duffy. So fast is the 4 so far. 4 of them on 4. Nicola Philipparts, Katie Dynan, Alex Matz and Charlotte Murray. We'll head on to Delaney Flynn now for the Windsor Show stables and for the McRae's. Cassini is the mare by Casalito for Delaney. And it's really just starting off their WEF season, jumped into the 4-star just a few weeks ago. And some solid results throughout the fall. Now, this pairing that went very well in Ottawa last season as well, and as always, good start in Traverse City in the spring, just on an early 4 for them as well. There's plenty of delicacy out on the course too, just very easy to have a rail. That's a second rail on the 8 at the moment for Delaney. So 4s have been coming up on a regular basis at the moment. Get a nice bend here into this double. And actually, that line is riding pretty well so far. Looking to finish strongly. Then finishing on the 8, it's 74.41. It's a total of 8 there for Delaney Flynn and Cassini. So goes into 6th place at the moment. So pretty good round, but unlikely to be part of our top 12. Tana Karokin now, the 24-year-old who had a super start to the season here as well, finishing second in an early Grand Prix as well on the 3-star Grand Prix. Kinmar Quality Hero, same ride again now for the Sandalwood Farms. That was a nice prep run for them. He's also been competing still in the Brain Juice U25 series. It's Irish bred gelding by OBOS Quality. 13 years of age. Jumping last year into this 5-star as well. Gives a little more space back to the wall. Again, like most, I think going to find a nice 8 on just a slightly inside line to there, and it's coming up very tidily up to the skinny then. Going to be interesting to see here for time. 75 the time allowed. Should be okay, but going to run a little bit close to it, probably about 72, 73. And there we go, 72.90. That's somewhere in between. Second best of them, because we've had now 2 clears. Tana Karokin producing a clear there as well. Alongside that of Michael Duffy, clear round number 2. Michael Duffy flipping the score of Tana Karokin. He's 72.09, while Tana Karokin at 72.90. 2 clears early stages yet. Say once we get to our first dozen, then we start to lose those out of our top 12. Emily Conter now had such a fantastic year here last year, winning the week 9 5-star Grand Prix there. Belgian rider with Portobello van der Fruitkopf, and that really set them up for a really big year for Emily, who then was again part of Belgian Nations Cup teams as well. 25 years of age. Last year really was a big year for the 25s and unders. You know, Malave, big part of that as well. Of course, she's now part of the world's top 10. 5-star win for Emily here as well. Finished well in Ocala last week in the run-up to this too. Last year jumping on the teams. Just a little drop there, unfortunately, in the middle part. Tall vertical in the centre there. 1 stride in each of those to come through the triple combination. Nations Cups in St. Gallen in Rotterdam. Portobello, first big competition of this year. Had a little bit of a break after Prague. Back into November last season. And just will leave them on the 4. So they're still in the shake-up right now at 74.20. Goes into 7th for Emily Conter there. And Portobello van der Fruitkopf. 7th spot at the moment. 4 falters, what, 5 of those? Nicola Philippart's the quickest of them at 71.38, keeping him in the mix at the moment. We'll see how far we get through remaining with the 12. 45 was the original start list for this class too. Stella Wasserman now. Another of the young shakers in the field at 21 years of age. Trains with McLean Ward. For Stella, who the last few seasons has built up a good relationship with Play, the former Jess Mendoza horse, but this pairing have had a good while together now. Play had a little bit of a break as well after the end of last year. Just back in action in Ocala in January, but just not coming to the wall as they'd like. So we'll obviously pick up the fall for that for the stop. So a roll back here means there'll be some time to come in there, one would imagine as well. No. And so pulling up there for Stella Wasserman and play. Early stages, 2 clears at this point of the $116,100 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. 2 top of the tree at the moment, Michael Duffy and B. Skyhawk and Tanner Korotkin and Kinmar Quality Hero as the clears to date. Spencer Smith now and the Ashton Farms Keeneland. And also for the Stormbridge Capital. Really interesting to see this horse out now, getting ready for the bigger classes too. Pair that have been on the winning team before now in Dublin. Again, early stages for this horse. Came out on week 1 in the Challenge Cup there. And again, had taken a little break since the fall in October last season. But finished the season well, was second in the World Cup qualifier at Traverse City as well. On to the squads last year too, making a return to the US team in Falsterbo, where they finished second. That's in Sweden. And also part of the squad in La Baule too, in France. His first few fences ridden very nicely so far. Again, for this pair, really just getting back into the ring. They've had an outing a couple of weeks ago to knock the rust off. Now to step it up a gear again. Making a really nice job of that line so far. Oh, just gets a fraction ahead of the skinny. Just looks like they rolled that behind. Spencer just coming in on the 4. Could still put them in the second round yet. We'll see. 70.47 because it's a quick round from them. So the fastest of the 4 so far. They go into third at the moment for Spencer Smith and Keelan, which means they would be back for round 2, but a good bit of journey to be covered yet between now and the end of the first round. So Spencer Smith, best of the 4s at this stage. 4 faults taking them down further. What's 6 4-faulters so far? Well, Max Watchman, of course, with Lexington. Finished well also in Ocala in the last couple of weeks in preparation for here in Wellington. Max formerly on a winning team here in Wellington as well for the Irish. come out strong this year as well for the Irish squad. Nice smooth run so far. Back over into the European 5 stars last year for Max. Coming home, looking to join teammate Michael Duffy, and should do that at 71.82. It is the fastest of the clears as well. Max Watchman signalling he's back into the groove here with Lexington. And so tightly round with the 12-year-old to take pole position at this point. So Max Watchman, Michael Duffy, the two for Ireland in the 3 clears so far. US represented by Tanaka Rotkin. Marilyn Little now. And also alongside Tanaka Rotkin, that equal second in the Southern Arches Grand Prix a few weeks ago here. With that La Contessa that she talked about in WEF Weekly just the other day. She finished nicely with a win at the end of last week as well in the 2 stars. That was with Narado. Contessa getting back into everything, having taken a break too since October last season. They've headed back here into Wellington. Just getting into the little edge of that triple combination, but work for them. Held the distance down to that little skinny. It can just start to get a little bit tighter if they're letting them drift down there too much. This is a good round so far. Time-wise looking good for Marilyn as well. This could easily be the fastest of the group at the moment. It's 68.93, and so nicely into leading position for Marilyn Little and La Contessa as it stands so far. And so Marilyn Little going ahead of Max Watchman and Michael Duffy, the 4 clears at the moment. So McLean Ward now, world number 9. And regular winner, of course, here in Wellington. McLean with Jordan Mulgarem. Normally the ride of Stella Wasserman that we saw a little bit earlier on. Like I say, he trains her as well, but now owned with Michael Smith. Mike has been a very good supporter of the US team. And also the horses with Australian Tyser Owen, well rewarded on that in the last couple of weeks too. New rankings out this week. McLean still in the world's top 10, world number 10. The battle continues for the world number 1 spot with Scott Brash having moved into number 1, Kent Farrington number 2, but great to have those 2 great riders vying for that. That's going to make for a very interesting season there as well, but some new combinations too into the McLean Ward string. Coming home also just on the 4. That'll be a good starting point for them through the season. Just the 4 there for McLean. It's a very new combination for them. Just jumping in California at the end of last year, and Ocala in the recent weeks in preparation as they build up. Former ride of Nicolas Delmotte of France. Actually rode the horse. Nick actually rode the horse in the Dinard Grand Prix last season as well for just the one time fault. That was won by Aaron Vale of the US actually. Jonathan McRae now is back to another horse from the Windsor Show stables. Jonathan this time in the saddle. This is Chacotolina PS, gelding by Chaco Blue. So finished well in Ocala in the run-up here in the 4-star Grand Prix the last weeks in readiness for here in Wellington. Like most, took a bit of a breather after the Highland Show back into October last year up in New York. Working their way through the triple combination, say a little bit of a bend here to the Fidelity Oxer. Makes a good effort at both of those, curves the line nicely to this double. Just getting a good eye on that skinny, the green poles there, just getting a lock onto that. Six down to finish. Little touch of the farm vet. Time's okay, 72.31. And so adding to the clear list there for Jonathan McRae, just a fraction quicker than that of Tanaka Rotkin, so he goes above him in the list at this point. Five clears to date of our lineup here, and then 4 falters after that. Just looks like it's the 4 falters going to be in our top 12 right now. The 8 falters moving out there with Delaney Flynn. To Mario Deloria now, Inside of My Heart for Aramapagumiem. Now for the Canadian who's also bringing this horse back into action here for the season. And then some of his established stars to return. Just on the 4 for them, like I say, 4 falters make it into the top 12 at this point. A nice 6 coming up down to the last. Time's going to be good at 69.49. Puts them into 6th place, the most midway through that group at this stage. Fastest of the 4s there for Mario Deloria and Inside of My Heart, this mare that had a very good start to the season. For the 10-year-old, and Mario with a number of the well-established campaigners coming back in the next few weeks as well. But 2 very good 10-year-olds he's going into action with this year too. Nina Malouet of France again comes in strong-handed for the Rain family for the world number 8. And the mare by de Montesemi is the French-bred Dynasty de Belfort for the 25-year-old, top of the 25's U25 list as well globally. But the lady rider into the world top 10 now too. Amazing season last year, and so well deserving of the success of it, including winning at the Rolex Series at the Brussels event there, Stefex Masters. Nina, who really kicked off her season here last year with wins, has already notched up a 4-star win in Ocala and started well there. Now makes her focus here on Wellington. Time-wise, they're coping with that easily enough. And actually with the top 12, it's more about them getting a little bit of a quicker time to keep them up the order, because once we go beyond our 12, if we had, say, 13 clears, well, it is the 12 that go through. So a clear isn't always the only factor. Nina, no doubt, watched on with trainer Lena Stillmans. 6, as it's going to be for most. Time-wise, it runs a little close to that, 73.19, but still some breathing space for them. So a little bit steady there with Dynasty de Belfort and Nina Malavé. But looking forward to seeing the world number 8 in action. And so right now, goes a little bit further down the order, is the steadiest of the clears at the moment. British rider Ben Mayer next. The world number 3. He makes a move back up from world number 4. Now for Ben Anjou de Grécien, for Charlotte Roster and Pamela Wright. 2 wins for Ben last week with Jane Clark's Ginger Blue. Nice start for Ben into the season there. Jumped this horse into the NetJets Grand Prix is a good starting point for many this season too. Done well in London and in Geneva. Part of the winning team at the Nations Cup final in Barcelona last year as well. Roll back to the vertical for Ben as they come 2 from home. Another good round from Ben Mayer and Anjou de Grécien. Time. We'll see how that puts them in the overall lineup. 71.97, third best at the moment. Marilyn Little, the quickest at 68.93. Then Max Watchman, and then Ben Mayer after that. Kyle Tim on course now for Canada. Just headed back here to the United States. Been over at the home base in Europe. Spent many years based in France. Also part of our WEF Weekly this week. If you haven't watched that yet already, you can catch up with him on all his thoughts for the week and beyond. And now becoming a regular member for the Canadian team for the Canadian national champion, winning that title at Toronto last year. Casino Calvin the Gelding by Casino Berlin. For Carlin, as he was saying last night, really just listening to the horses to see where they feel they're ready to go over the next few weeks. He's going to be in and out of here of Wellington. Coming home the moment, one away from being part of that lineup. Like I say, I feel we're going to be maybe beyond the 12 clears. We'll see. 72.16, so time may well be a big factor here. So he goes just behind Michael Duffy, ahead of Nina Malavey, Tana Korotkin and Jonathan McRae so far. Mimi Gottschman there going into the second best score so far. And so in our lineup as well, Marilyn Little, the quickest at 68.93. So Mimi Gottschman very much in the shake-up there as well. Rani Dittmer now of Germany. Mark Minnes's Corsica. The horse has gone so consistently for him. The rider who was past winner of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix on this ride too. Rene then going on being part of teams for Germany, coming nicely through the triple combination so far. There's a little bit of rain falling at the moment as well. Just to add to the vagaries of taking on a big course for the afternoon, or rather through the morning, as we are still just are. Time-wise, still looking good. I think we're going to get a few clears out of the lineup today as well. High-quality field once again. And 74.06, what, 5 of the world's top 10 competing this week too. And so 74.06 top 10 for René Dittmer and Corsica. So they will just have to wait and see, like I say, for the clears. It's going to start to get a little tighter in terms of time. Simon McCarthy and Leonardo S rather, for the Cedar Fox, owned by the Volpe family. Now for Simon. Finished well with this horse, so he's following through the Southern Arches Grand Prix back onto week 1. Many will have followed his long-time partner in Gotcha. Now on this full ride of Willem Grever. He was riding throughout last year. Rain just intensifying a little at the moment. And so for Simon McCarthy, it's 72.71 into 8th spot so far with Leonardo. So now joining the list too, the clears becoming ever more critical to be quicker ones. And just as we're taking a little break, takes us to our 22nd there, completed round. And with the clears so far, we saw Marilyn Little as the quickest of them at the moment. And those coming into play a little later on there. We've still got a very good lineup to come. Still with Brian Mogray, Jessica Springsteen, Charlotte Jacobs into our second half, Tom Watchman, Brother Max already completed a little earlier. Lily Keenan coming up with Highway, Keane O'Connor, Ulysses, and Rishi Vogel, Abul Shaka. And into our final few, winner yesterday, Rodrigo Pessoa, this time with Prince Van Eikenlow and Kent Farrington, or Afina with last to go, Erin Ballard and Fave the Tweet. We're a bit back in around 10 minutes, I would imagine, with the second half of round 1 of this Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, part of our 5-star this week. Well, taking us back into the second half of round one, as you can see, a little bit damp around, but not too much to complain about. 24-year-old Brian Maugré to go now on the 17-year-old MTM Vive la Rêve, long-time wonderful partner for him, and now looking to join our lineup of those 12 going through. 11 clears already. So to put that in perspective as well, René Dittmer in 11th place at the moment on 74.06 on the clear with Corsica. Mario Delorier hangs on to 12th place at this point with Inside of My Heart, but looking highly likely that it'll be just the clears going through, and maybe not all of those. So it is back with Brian Maugré. And Brian has been part of winning teams in Aachen before now for the US, but it's lovely to see this partnership out for what's been a World Cup winning combination and a horse that really established his career as well. And nice to see them going so well last year through Toronto as well. Coming to the latter part of last season there. With a clear rate of 38% based on the Equiratings statistics. Finished top 10-2 at Washington in the World Cup before now as well, into the last part of last year, but they were Grand Prix winners in Ocala last year, back into a similar time of year. So time-wise, although the time allowed is one they're thinking about, they're actually going to have to be a little bit swifter now to start making that top 12. This is looking pretty good. Holds back there to keep them off the Farm Vet Oxford at the last, 71.20. So looking pretty good there. Goes third best there for Brian Maugré. And MTM Vive la Rêve. Marilyn Little, the quickest of the clears, still with La Contesta at 68.93. Mimi Gotchman, the only one under 70 seconds at 69.65. 69.65. Those hundredths of a second could make a big difference. It does mean we're at just the clears now. Jessica Springsteen, Olympic silver medalist with Cayman de Poto Z. Now the 11-year-old by Cayado for the Sternhill Farm of Los Angeles for Jessica. Nice to see Don Juan back out this week as well. Stepping back into the limelight, her Olympic ride from Tokyo. Comes in with a pretty stronger string now. Don Juan and she top 3 in the Grand Prix in California to finish off last year as well. Cayman now starting to get a little more experience through the 5 stars last year. Touching into a few in Europe in the supporting classes and league classes for the 2 team series that take place either side of the Atlantic. Giving them some good ring time. Nicely so far in the increasing precipitation. Time-wise, this should be pretty good as well from Jessica. Nicely done, Jess, as she crosses the line in 68.68. And so that will be the fastest so far. Jessica Springsteen came into Poto Z, will go into pole position now. I'd hope that would be enough to keep them in the top dozen. And we start to see some of the clears dropping out of the equation there too, with René Dittmer and Corsica at 74.06. Coming out of that group, but going into the number 1 spot for round 2. Jessica Springsteen and Cayman de Poto Z. Charlotte Jacobs now making her return here to Wellington too. Again, the last couple of weeks been further north, up in Ocala. This is the North Stars Cormac van der Renga. The Calestus side, a Dutch bred gelding for Charlotte. And she had such a brilliant run here as part of the winning team for the US. A few weeks away yet from the Nations Cup here on what, week 8? Charlotte again taking a little bit of a break herself at the end of last year, but I say prepped in the last few weeks up in Ocala with bringing out Thomas Court-Bally, Patrick, instrumental. And nice wins there too with Rinkula Milchon as well. Great to see that horse on flying form too, as this one can be as well. This was the horse she rode to be part of the winning team last July in Traverse City for the US as well. Rain just intensifying at the moment. And so time-wise, just a fraction steadier, 73.14, although a nice clear there for Charlotte Jacobs, and Korbach van der Renga puts them into 12th place right now. So they sit on the cusp. It means Nina Malave outside the top 12. I think unlikely Charlotte's going to make the top 12 there as well. We'll see. But I feel there's just a little bit too much mileage left yet. 26th coming up of 45 in the first round here. Tom Watchman and Tabasco de Toxandria said for the Coolmore show jumping. Now for Tom, finishing the year in 2025 with a win in the London Grand Prix. Tom this month turning 21. Also, like his brother, on a winning Irish team last season. It's actually, this was the horse he rode in the Nations Cup of Dublin last year as well. And on the winning squad in La Baule in France, both part of the Rolex series. Shrugging off the damp conditions so far. Brother Max already 5th best of them so far on Lexington. Time-wise, this is going to be a little bit steady, but the last fence is going to drop anyway, so it's going to make it academic. It is going to would have been 1 time fault, but with a fence down, it's obviously going to be 5. 75.10. Tom Watchman and Tabasco de Toxandria. But again, these are pairs that we'll probably see into the Grand Prix on Saturday night as well. 40 into the Grand Prix, 45 in this class as well. 1 or 2 I know that are probably not going to go straight through to aim for the Grand Prix this week. So we'll see, just because various reasons of horses looking ahead for the rest of the coming 5 stars as well. I think this man will be competitive, though. Is the 30-year-old Bertram Allen of Ireland. Ireland already with representation with Michael Duffy and Max Watchman. Early stages of a big year and really starting to ramp up here in Wellington now. Like I say, we go into our strongest group towards the finish now. And the 5 stars here on week 5, first of the season. Then it's Hunter week next week. It's centre stage for them, but still 3-star on the grass. Then we start to get into the 5 stars and Nations Cup coming thick and fast towards us. It's the real extra buzz here to the grounds. Just on the 4 so far for Bertram, but again, just a little bit of a longer reach coming out there with 0K. Several wins for him already with this horse that's normally the ride of Dara Kenny of Ireland. But as with his natural ability, he's picked it up very quickly and very well. It'll just rub of the sheen of water off the pole down there. But it stays intact. It's going to leave them with 2 down, though. It's on 8 at 71, 61.8 there for Bertram Allen, and 0K this time. I can say my point a little bit earlier is that those aiming for the Grand Prix hopefully should be in there all right this week. But this is the key factor that of this class, is this determines the order for the Grand Prix on Saturday night as well. We also have 10 coming out of tomorrow's speed qualifier. But one would imagine those aiming for it, I hope, will get in all right. So it'll be 30 from this, 10 from tomorrow, and then backfilling from this class for any duplicates, without getting too bogged down in how it works. Daniel Blumen, Hummer Z, and the rider from the world's top group now. Daniel currently world number 18, has remained at that spot here for February. Six of the world's top 10 going to compete with us, looks like, this week. Christian Kunkuk is the other from the world's top 10, not in this class, but also would be pre-qualified as Olympic champion anyway. See what his plan is. With this gelding for Abigail Wexner that was also developing nicely with BZ Madden, and then staying with the same moment, moved to Daniel taking it up another gear again. Just holds them, anchors them down to that skinny, but not quite enough in the end. On the 4, just gets a little bit of a bend out there to hold them to the last. 71.47 just on the 4 there, so 18th spot for Daniel Blumen. And Hummer Z was jumping Corby VV yesterday, so I would imagine that would be his horse who would be aiming for the Grand Prix. Don't want to make too many second guesses, but the more experienced. Michael Morrissey. US rider riding for Ash Atkinson. It's in Cento SA. Pair that were top 3 2 seasons ago in the American Gold Cup. The family run shows up in Traverse City. And Michael really built a good partnership with this horse. Just been with it. It was fairly new as a partnership back then when they did well in that big 5-star Grand Prix there. Now with the 13-year-old that's very capable of producing a good round here just into the morning. 11:45 local time here in Wellington. Just, you can hear him verbally saying whoa down there. It just didn't quite happen enough. Coming on the 4 for Michael. .74.26, And just the one down, 24th position it stands though so far for Michael Morrissey and Incento SA. Just shows how many fours have come into the action as well. Very few big scores in here at all. We've got 4 falters all the way down to Michael Watt 24. 25th is Tom Watchman, and which is 4 and 1. Couple of 8s. Jake Ward had 16 to start off with in time. But otherwise, some low scoring coming out today. Nasa Nael was the Evergate Stables ESIR League Grand Prix winning combination here last year as well. That was in the early stage, what, Southern Arches Grand Prix last year. Irish bred gelding by Staccato Gold for Nael. With this 11-year-old that finished top 10 in the Grand Prix 5-star here last year as well into, what, week 7. Again, had a break last year, returning now in January this. Just sitting on the 4 at the moment. Still will give them a good preparation round for the week, depending on which horse he's going to go with towards the Grand Prix, should he do that. 73.06 just on the 4 there for Nael Nassar and ESIR Lee as they return to the top flight. Meantime, Lily Keenan, Team Niehoff's Highway TN. As those that have been following will know, this is a new ride for her, but started off in fine form, winning the National Grand Prix in preparation. First 5-star for this pair as well. But they won the qualifier, won the Grand Prix. Now it's time to get into the serious business of this pairing together. She's already notched up the NetJets Grand Prix as well with Faster just, what, 2 weeks ago. Continues to make a move up the world rankings into the top 30 right now, 29th position. Always so important in getting to the very top shows. This is going to be a big strengthening to her string as well, as she's able to rotate through a very good lineup of horses 2026 so far. Just let them run a little bit more to the wall and the Modon Oxer. Eats up the ground down to the little skinny there again with good propulsion. Very interested to see where this comes out time-wise, because fastest clear so far is 68.68. They're not going to be far away from that. 70.84, and so that should be the 4th quickest of them so far, Lily Keenan. And Highway TN, yes, confirmed they go into 4th at the moment. Jessica Springsteen quickest at 68.68. And those just starting to move out of that top 12. Charlotte Jacobs just coming out of that. Tanika Rotkin in 12th position on 72.90. Gabriel Machado now of Brazil. Legoland Sandro for the Bay Winds Equestrian of here in Wellington. The Irish bred gelding by Sandro Boy. Top 4 riders now reading from the top lady rider list. Jessica Springsteen the quickest, Marilyn Little after that, which means they'll go in reverse order for the second round. Mimi Gotchma, Lily Keenan, the 4 swiftest so far. Just a little touch there in the double. Now also coming in cleanly for this pair that have taken a break from the top flight. Their last show being trial last season. Just a little drop at the last, little stumble through the finish. 71.63 just leaves them on the 4. For Gabriel de Machado of Brazil and Legoland Sandro, but a good return into the big classes too for that pair. Taylor Korotkin sitting 12th spot at the moment. Kinmar Quality Hero 72.90, so need to be that or better to be into the top 12. They don't obviously get placed beyond that, so again for their rankings in terms of going into the Grand Prix on Saturday, they will just carry on from there, but it would be nice to be in the top dozen. Say 30 from this, top 10 from the speed, and then those remaining places coming from the WEF Challenge Cup as well. Germany next, one of a couple coming up for Germany. Simon Widman and Qualifiers Denfer is the mare by Classic Bois Margot for another new face. Good to see this year into Wellington. Still Rishi Vogel to come for Germany too. Having this last part coming out of the triple combination on the 4 for this pair again, stepping up a little more. Finished well in Doha last year in the 5 stars there at the sort of similar time of year. They were on that tour last year, then this year heading to here to Florida. On just the 4 time-wise would be pretty good as well, but not enough to put them into the second round, but still a solid spot should they be going on Saturday. 72.51 on the 4 there for Simon Widman and Qualifiers Denfer. But again, as I'm saying, with the 4 falters, with quite a long list of those, may well be 4 falters that are not getting on an automatic 30 yet for Saturday as well. So again, time will be crucial there because there's a long list of 4 falters now. Quick look, 12, 13, something like that. Mark Blumen, well, number 55 for Mark, and continues to move up. So some few changes around on the latest list. Mark starting strongly again here to Wellington, so has gained some valuable points already into January. Mark actually moved up a couple of places to 53rd now. Won nicely in the Challenge Cups already with Landon just last week. Very capable of going quickly with this well-named horse. Costa Quick PS just has to take a little bit of a pull down there, which will hold them back from the top spot, but still should be in the shake-up. 70.03. Fourth quickest of the clears so far. Starts to see Simon McCarthy on the drop line now. The Irishman on 72.71 with Leonardo S. Mark Blumen, fourth best of the clears. 70.03. So it is actually Cian O'Connor of Ireland as we go on course now with Ulysses, the stallion, buying for pleasure. Out of a Verdi mare for the Irish top rider. Just the weather increasing in intensity right now. Middle part of the triple combination dropping for Cian. Number 22. Ulysses being produced with Cian and Beth Underhill on the same Carlswood team there as well. Cian back in the saddle for January this year as they move this horse up a gear. It's this 10-year-old stallion just coming in on the 4, and so sees them at 72.84. 4 there for Cian O'Connor and Ulysses. 24th position as we see there. Like I say, 4 falters are going to be in the danger zone there. In fact, Michael Morris is sitting on the 30th position right now on the 4 faults, so they are not guaranteed. But as I say, there's a good chance tomorrow as well, yeah, and I think probably a bit of breathing space for a few. As I say, you can see the weather intensifying by the way Jordan leans into the rain there. Jordan Coyle and the Elan Farms Ariso. Past 5-star winning horse for him. That was over in California a few seasons ago now. Ariso now 15. By Casal for Jordan. Just on the 4 at the moment for the pair that jumped sporadically last year, sort of this time of year here in Wellington, and then came back in the autumn. Just on the 4 for them, so again, pair that will get out there knocking a little rust off. As we're used to seeing, no noseband there, just fairly easy setup there for Jordan Coyle and Ariso. Just bringing them to a steadying finish. Eduardo de Menezes now of Brazil for the H5 Sport horses, H5 London time. Stallion by Hummer time. Owned by the Hank family, the H5 team. 37th of 45 to go here. So yeah, like I say, the clear rounds certainly lower down, not guaranteed of their spot yet. Top of the tree is still Jessica Springsteen and Cayman de Poto Z on 68-68. Marilyn Little, Mimi Gotchman, Mark Bloom and Lily Keenan making up the final 5 at this stage for round 2. Will remain as that at the moment as they drop 2 rails in the triple combination. Again for this pair, 2 down. They've finished top 10 at the events in Thermal at the end of last year. Just coming home on 8. More to build on for this season. 8 there at 71.06 for Eduardo de Menezes and H5 London time. Richie Vogel of Germany, the European champion, crowned that in Spain last year for except for the world's top 10. He remains as world number 6. Abu Chaka NRW for Richie, this Westphalian stallion. It's been ridden by partner Sophie Hinners up to now. New ride for him here in Wellington. Just one really big competition under their belt so far. So not a lot to work on yet, but a striking combination so far for the man who's been winning World Cups and of course a former winner of the Rolex Grand Prix here in Wellington as well. Pretty efficient turn back here too, keen to get deep into this wall. But also he knows by this point of the competition, go that a little bit later as well, how crucial time is. .68 leading time at the moment. That might be about to be superseded as they step over the last. 67.81 Rishi Vogel and Abu Chaka into pole position now for round 2. Like I say, not a lot of stats to go on for this pair yet, but what they are producing looks good. Our stats on weather, not so great, I'm afraid. Wind is blowing, rain is just swirling around at this point. Not too intense, touch wood. That's Holgers Jr., the US rider with the Goodhines House's Pixel K. For another of the younger riders in the field. Clear round rate is 38% based on our Equirating stat. Average clear rate 22%. Finished second in the Challenge Cup here on WEF 3. I was on the NetJets week, also was top 10 in the Grand Prix there as well. Pretty solid start for them so far on that first week, the NetJets 4-star week, really that first real step up for those here in the stadium. Coming home also on the 4 for Ansgar so far. Like I say, 4 faults going to be very crucial on time as to where that puts them in the qualifying for the Grand Prix. 72.08, they go 25th. So a little bit of breathing space for them yet. 5 left to come, so all of those would have to get ahead of them to push them out of that top 30. Tyser Owen now of Australia. Koberlin and Tien. 4 outings at this level so far. A quarter of that they've jumped clear at. Finished well in Thermal last December too. Tyser Owen, good start to the season so far for the Australian Olympian as well. Riding also for Mike Smith that I mentioned earlier on, with also McLean Wards. Those who are watching for the NetJets Grand Prix, she finished top 3 in that, with highly to be her Olympic ride back here, what, 2 weeks ago now, but here with the 11-year-old that was produced with Erika Lickhammer of Sweden, and for a while last year with Harry Smolders, the Netherlands. They'll come home nicely at 73.08, 15th place out of the top 12, but happy with that round as they step up into the 5 stars. Jumped some of the classes at the Major League Show in Thermal last year, but another step on the gas here for them in Wellington. So you can see from the camera it's getting wetter, I'm afraid. Alain Blumen. First of 4 left to go for Colombia. Alain with Akayu for the German-bred mare by Casalco. It's one of those days to sit and watch at home, so hopefully you're exactly that, tucked up watching wherever you are in the world, where I'm sure our weather is probably still better than where an awful lot of people are sitting too. This makes it a little more intensive coming into the triple combination. That's ridden nicely so far with the 1 stride between each of those nice bold poles to get a lock on to all the way through it. Gathers them back up after stretching out down that 4 stride line. Just keeps them a lot tighter here. Just on the toes down to that little skinny. Squeezing the stride up. And it's going to keep adding seconds though, and that could be dangerous here, but that's more fatal. Final fence dropping 72.94 and would have been outside the top 12 But still a good round there for Elan Blumen and Akayu. So 72.94 drops them down 29th position, so they're right on the cusp. But bearing in mind, we've still got Rodrigo Pessoa, Kent Farrington and Erin Ballard to come. I would expect, fingers crossed, some good rounds out of them, so that might well push them just out of that top 30. Winner yesterday, Rodrigo Pessoa, returns now, the Brazilian Olympic champion from Athens. Rio Equestrians, Prins van Eikenglo. Gelded by Vigo del Sway for Rodrigo, coming in buoyed by yesterday's success. Different ride there this time. Riding a wonderful lineup of horses for the Artemis Farms. Just catching that on the way out to the triple combination. So he's on the 4 as well. So now he's about getting in the right spot. Again, not sure which horses he would be, say, early days with somewhere, which his thoughts were with aiming for the Grand Prix, should he be. That will come down to tomorrow's speed now for them, with the 8 will put them outside the 30. Can move up for this horse with Rodrigo, so this is going to be another fact-finding mission for them throughout the week. We'll say notched up a win yesterday as well. Just on the 8 there, 75.32. Just adds a time fault there too for Prins van Eikenglo and Rodrigo Pessoa. So 2 remaining on our list. So not a perfect Florida weather, maybe a winter weather, but so just 2 left. Richie Vogel in prime spot right now with Abochaka on 67.18 in this $116,000 class. Just remaining with Kent Farrington of the USA and Erin Ballard. Kent just coming under the bridge. Pairing that a hot foot back from California with Orifina, the mare by For Fashion. And he rode to win the qualifier for the World Cup last week, and the opening class too. Similarly, a good class in Ocala in preparation for this now 14-year-old. He was back in action with wins in New York at the side of Ridge Masters last year, winning the Grand Prix there for the 3-star. And played a very good role in the team last year. Greer was his winning combination here last year of the Fidelity Grand Prix. This is the pair that have won their own list of Grand Prix successes. He was jumping Greer here this week, so I would think he will probably go back to Greer for the Grand Prix itself. Just chops down the first part of the triple combination. Kent on the pre-qualified list as a medalist from the Pan American Games. Just trying to straighten things out down that line there, and so it's going to be 12 overall, 70.48 for Ken Farrington and Orafina. So Rishi Vogel remaining in the leading spot so far. 2 left to go. Aaron Ballard last to go. 53 for Aaron, who's notched up an Hermes 150 win just last week as well. Aaron moving a couple of spots up in the world rankings this month as well to 38th. Already started well with wins here too. Feydewitt is already posting some good rounds clears in the 4-star week here as well. Aaron coming on a good round. It'll be a question of time as whether they make that top dozen. Not so sure they will, looking at that. 74.74. Yep, 19th position for Aaron Ballard and Feydewitt. So it is 12 all set to return for the second round of this Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here this week. Our thanks to Adequan once again. And over 30 years of experience working with owners, trainers and veterinarians. You can talk to the experts about why Adequan would be good for you. You can also head to the website too, adequan.com as well. But been wonderful long-time supporters here in Wellington and as the sport as a whole. Not the brightest of days in amongst the palm trees here, but hopefully we're going to brighten it up with our jump-off. Well, our second round, let's be technically correct. 12 set to return, last of which will be Rishi Vogel and Abul Chaka. Jessica Springsteen will go penultimate combination with Cayman Depoto Z, Marilyn Little, La Contessa, Mimi Goshman, Inclen BH, Mark Blumen and Costa Quick. Returning there, Lily Keenan, Highway TN, Brian Mowgray in that list as well, Max Watchman, Lexington. Ben Mayer, Anjou de Grecian, Michael Duffy. I think, just looking at Kyle Tim will be back with Casino Calvin for the lineup as well. So let's just confirm that on my jump-off qualifiers. Yeah, John McRae just making it in 12th place there with Chaka Tolino PS. So he'll be first out of the list. Down there, as I say, going reverse order. So last to go is the world number 6, Rishi Vogel and Abul Chaka. Michael Duffy gave us the early first clear with B Skyhawk as well. And nice to see Kyle Tim in there as well. I say Kyle was talking to us on WEF Weekly this week as well. If you haven't looked at that already, either Facebook or through USEF Equestrian, through seeing that online and online at our own website too at wellingtoninternational.com/live. Also, you can get in touch with us at WEF Weekly at wellingtoninternational.com too. Email us there. That'll come through to us and myself, and we'll hopefully answer questions on the program for you too. Anything you see during the week, what you'd like answers to, and also tell us what you've been up to and where you're watching, and also you can send us videos about your rounds too. We want to hear from you. So those are the 12 qualifiers going through our dozen to return, and that'll be underway in a few minutes time, probably just around 7 or 8 minutes till we get to that. In the meantime, let's look at this picture. It looks a nicer day. Back in a minute. Well, set for our second round, and just to update you, 2 combinations not jumping off. They are Max Watchman and Lexington and Michael Duffy and B.E. Skyhawk. So they would go into that 11th, 12th spot. And so we'll start with Jonathan McRae as we go in reverse order for this jump off as well. And like I say, I'd love to say the weather's got better. It hasn't. But fingers crossed, our arena crew down there drying off. And about to get a little damper is John McRae, but hopefully he walks away with a big chunk of prize money to make the day feel a little bit warmer and better. So John McRae to start us into our second round. Let's be exact about that. Fences 3, 4, 5A and B, 9B. I'll make sense of this as we go around. 10 and 11, so loop back there. 12, new fence 15, which is fence 8 as an oxen out, and fence 1 as the last on course as the finishing fence this time around. So we're starting with the vertical, which was the plank before. Now it's got a pole on top. That was at the angel wings down there. To then Logano at 4. They can try and cut inside there. Just cuts a little bit tighter there. 5A and B. So 2 parts of what was the triple combination. Cross the arena to second part of what was the double there. So 9B this time to the red and white. From 9B on to 10, still the skinny there. And turning back to the water here at 11. So again, got to get yourself off the in gate. Just again gives the pole a little rub, just sees a little water drop off it. Then to 12, new fence, in the sense that it's been an oxen this time, turned around, fence 15, and first fence, as was the Adequan fence, change of material there, as the last on course. And so it is there 47.97, just on the 4, 1 down for Jonathan McRae and Chacotolino PS. And so jumping around our track to give us a good steer on what is coming up. Let's remind you who's coming up into this jump off as well. You see Ben Mayer, Lily Keenan, Mark Blumen, Mimi Gotchman, Marilyn Little, Jessica Springsteen and Richie Vogel last to go. So a little bit of ramping up to do for this yet. And we'll go on to our next now to Kyle Tim and Casino Calvin for the Rain family now for the Canadian. For the Canadian national champion. Huddled in and set to go on the grey. So he comes a little tight. He's looking to just shave that angle. So they got 7 down there. Really cut that line down now. Right across the centre. Again, it's how tight you turn up to this, but also bearing in mind you've got the skinny coming up afterwards, so you've got to be a little bit more. If you're going to be a little bit more attacking at that, the danger is that that can just roll out of the cup. It's sat well for 2 so far. A little bit more drive at the brain juice fence. Now just on the 4. Going to be home on that, and it's going to be 47-78, just 1 down, so just a little quicker too. Kyle Tim of the 2 gone so far, with Casino Calvin going into the lead, but very early stages of this second round. 8 more left to come. Bearing in mind you've got Richie Vogel, Jess Springsteen, Marilyn Little going in our final few as well. Ben Mayer now, after 2 wins last week, takes a shot at this Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Now for the world number 3. Nice shot in there. Moving well at the moment. Just keeps a nice balance turn back to the water tray. kick a fairly long run up to the mode on fence. And there's a good spin back here. Time's going to be better. Score's going to be better. It is going to be 45.80 to go into the lead for Ben Mayer and Anjou de Gratien as they take the lead so far in this Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Leading partnerships so far. Brian Maugret, MTM, Vive le Rêve. For the now 17-year-old horse, loads of experience between this pairing. Although both still a useful rider, has won a lot in the early part of his career. Again, he shapes the shot there. Squeezes it right down as well. Just getting on that real inside line. Just a little bit harder to get off the bottom end of the arena there into the double. Gives himself a little bit more space on the roll back by this point on the 12 at this stage. So just steadying the ship. Coming home on a dozen for Brian Maugret and MTM Vive le Rêve. So time of 51.69, eased off the gas there as well after some early fences. And so they've go into fourth place so far. Ben Mayer leads so far, 45.80. Only one to produce the clear, was 2 seconds quicker than those previous. So we'll go to Lily Keenan and her National Grand Prix winner in Highway TN, but both have won around the world. In fact, both have won the Dutch Masters. Lily, little rein back to quietly get them set. Takes a final look around with Highway. Some space to get across the Lugano. He's able to keep the pace up here, maybe just a fraction quicker than that of Ben Mayer, we'll see. Just feels like it at the moment as they get tight up to 9. Carefully handling the skinny, a little bit more space there. Time to beat a 45.80, just trembles the pole at the brain juice fence. Looks as though they've got time here to get in front. This is going to be a good round from Lily Keenan as they go over the last in a quicker time of 44.88. And Lily taking the lead with Highway TN cruising in front then of Ben Mayer Anjou de Gratien. Is at 45.80. Lily just short of nearly a second quicker. For Mark Blumen. Cost a quick PS. What can be a quick combination. Lily Keenan just closing down a few of those lines from Ben Mayer's shot at it. not to be there. Unfortunately for Mark. So water undoing for them. Still leaves Lily Keenan in the lead with Highway TN on the 8 right now. So gets home with 8+ time. Total of 17 there, 63.39 for Mark Blumen and Costa Quick PS. Lily Keenan, Ben Mayer, Kyle Tim. Top 3 still in the lineup. Lily leading on 44.88. Kyle Tim best of the 4s at the moment. Mimi Goshman finished top 3 in the 5-star Grand Prix here last season as well. Was up there with what? Christian Kukuk and Henrik von Eckermann previously. Up on the podium there. Inclen BH. Mimi taking a lovely smooth run through the double as well. This maybe goes a touch wider than Lily there, but it's kept up a good pace all the way through this. She's going to take a run at this and is not going to be far away. Don't want to drift too far here. This is going to be close, maybe enough to squeak in front for Mimi Goshman and Inclen BH. It is 43.99, less than a second quicker. But Mimi Goshman going in front with Inclen BH. Lily Keenan in second, 44.88. Ben Mayer in third, Anjou de Grécien. Coming into our final 3. What to go, Marilyn Little, Rishi Vogel and Jessica Springsteen. So Marilyn Little first of that triumvirate with La Contessa. Best 3 in qualifying. Squeezes down that line as well. Mimi just had such a very good pace, not only doing the numbers, but really keeping intense. It is Marilyn there just getting to the right side of that first double to just take a little bit of a shave. That could not have been closer there. But it does swing them out at the next. Now running here, I'm not sure they're going to be faster than that of Mimi, but it is going to be very, very close. It's just going to be a little bit apart. 44.74 will go into second for Marilyn Little. And La Contessa just squeezes ahead of Lily Keenan now in third. Mimi Goshman leading at 43.99. And so still heads up this Adequan WEF Challenge Cup with 2 to go, our 2 quickest. Richard Vogel, the first of those, and then finally Jessica Springsteen. In fact, Jess Springsteen will go first of those 2. Came into Porto Z. Rishi Vogel to go last. Now for the rider who's won the Grand Prix of Saint-Tropez before now. Brilliant in Brussels, Rolex Series event that it is now too. Nice and smooth so far. Not sure it's going to be quicker than Mimi, but it's still a very good round that she's putting together. We'll see. She's getting tight. Not going to be too far away, but not going to be quite that of the leading score. It's still going to be a very good round from Jessica Springsteen and Cayman de Porto Z, and sees them home in 45.26. They'll go into fourth. So Jessica now really moving Cayman up a gear. Looking great to see them there on fine form. Goes into fourth spot. Mimi Gotchman keeps the lead. Marilyn Little second. Lily Keenan in third. One left to go. Rishi Vogel of Germany and Abul Chaka. A new ride for him. Now a chance to really test the gears for the world number 6. Where he can be so good, is so smooth into those jump-offs as well. Of just that cruise around, that different gear. You'll just get them at a high tempo and remain at it. Now he gets wider out and just trying to bend the line there. Doesn't quite come off. So Mimi Gotchman will be the winner. But again, for him, he's really going to be testing what he and this horse can do together. So good first round, just starting to put a little bit more pressure on in the jump off, so eases back there. Good turn back there, and that's the sort of efficiency he'll have in later rounds to call on. So again, always learning, always making it a good training experience. And so for the 8, they'll see them home at 45.56, 2 down for Rishi Vogel and Abul Chaka as the last to go. So the winners of our 5-star Adequan WEF Challenge Cup are Mimi Gotchman in Clen BH, Marilyn Little finishing second with La Contessa, Lily Keenan in third with Highway TN, 4th spot Jessica Springsteen, Cayman de Porto Z, 5th to Ben Mayer on Jeu de Grécien, and 6th place to Kyle Tim. Casino Calvin. We're back tomorrow. Speed class tomorrow is also top 10 from that will qualify for the Grand Prix on Saturday night as well. And of course, Saturday night will be the Fidelity Investments Grand Prix too. 6 o'clock, we bring you the pre-show. And so 3 terrific riders to take you through the field of what to expect in the upcoming Grand Prix. That'll be from 6 o'clock local time on to our streaming as well for Wellington International. And then you can follow into the Grand Prix itself as well. So looking forward to that. 40 the best going on Saturday night. But our Grand Prix qualifier sees Mimi Gotchman at the top and a home win for the USA. In fact, top 4 all for the home nation. Mimi Gotchman, Marilyn Little, Lily Keenan and Jessica Springsteen, the lady riders dominating our top 4 in the qualifier. But Mimi Gotchman is your winner. Presentation coming up.